It seems more and more frequently that real estate scams are happening all over the US because of the uneducated first-time home buyer. In the last 2 years, the housing market has seen a big boom where homeowners have waived their rights to inspection periods as well as paid well above the asking price. And they've had to even cover the gap of the appraisal with cash just to be able to get their offer even looked at by the seller, where they had 14, 15 offers on the table. This is how details of home buying get missed. You end up with a house with a lot of deferred maintenance as well as overpaid for the property, and that's going to be hard to sell in the future without being underwater. According to the FBI, there have been over 13,500 people who have been victims to real estate scams in just the last year alone. I want to take a deep dive on the real estate red flags, on how to spot them, and the everyday scams that happen that nobody really knows about. I'm gonna go through 3 real estate red flags, and then I wanna go through 3 scams that I see happen on a weekly basis. I'm gonna go through 3 real estate red flags, and then I wanna go through 3 scams that I see happen on a weekly basis. So stick around, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and let's get started. The first real estate red flag that I see is the pressures to act quickly, immediately. Now, we have seen in the last 2 years that you have to act immediately or the house will get snatched up really fast. But I will say that when you start moving really fast in real estate, you can miss a lot of key points, especially when you've never purchased any type of real estate before. Now, a real estate agent is definitely gonna walk you through the process if you have a good one. Not all real estates are created equal. And if you are buying in Texas, I am a Texas licensed real estate agent, so you can find my information down below. But I would say that now with the market cooling off, the pressures to act quickly should not be there. And you should be able to put in an offer that is reasonable and that where you don't have to act super fast, and that you can kind of think about it and you can kind of make a great decision and offer them less than the asking price, because prices are definitely coming down right now. So the second one is unrealistic guarantees. If it's not in writing in real estate, it doesn't exist, okay? People say a bunch of stuff that they're like, oh, I will redo the yard if you purchase this, or I'll redo this if you'll do this. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, they will not do it if it's not in writing, okay? And that is the only thing that will hold up in court. Even though there are states that do accept a verbal agreement, but it's very hard to prove a verbal contract versus something that is written and signed and you can hold their feet to the fire. So an unrealistic guarantee, meaning that I'm gonna do this, 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 and then the seller doesn't actually do any of it. So my biggest thing is to make sure that your real estate agent gets it in writing. I would say the third major red flag that I've seen across the board is that they are demanding the money be wired immediately, that you don't use escrow or title. Here they call it title. In California, they call it escrow. It's just semantics. At the end of the day, it is title, and escrow is what you go through for a 30 to 45 day period. It's a neutral third party that doesn't have any bias on one against the other. So it's great for you to be able to put your hard-earned money into knowing that you are actually gonna be able to purchase this house and that you will be the one on title. And if you don't go through a title escrow, you don't know whether or not they're actually gonna transfer the deed to you. It's very hard to hold their feet to the fire. And you get title insurance that makes sure that you are the person that is supposed to go on title, because if not, the title company is held responsible for that. So that is the 3 major red flags that I've seen in real estate to make sure that you stay away from. Take your time. It's a huge purchase. It's one of the biggest purchases that you will ever make in your entire life. Make sure that it's a good one. It's a good investment for you to go and sell it later on in the future, or it's just your forever home and that is what you want. So I will say those are the 3 major red flags. So a major scam that goes on a weekly basis, and I can't believe it still happens. When I first got started in this business, this actually happened to one of my buyers, and it was very scary, which is wire fraud. And I will say that title and escrow companies try very hard to encode their information so nobody sees it. They typically don't even send it by email anymore. It's either in an app that's protected, or you have to really go through a couple hoops to get their instructions on how to wire the funds. And the reason for this is that back in the day, and it still happens to this day, is that there was an email that would come out right after the title email saying, oops, we actually got the wrong account. Please send it to this account. And it was a scam. Somebody sent $80,000. And for some people, that's not a lot of money, but for somebody who has been in this business, that's gonna sting a little bit. Luckily, he had another $80,000 to close the transaction. However, you have to get the FBI involved. You have to try to find it. Typically, the scammer doesn't just use that account. They take that account and then they filter it to different accounts, so you will never find it. So that is super, super hard to try to find your money once you send it. So make sure you are sending it to the right title and escrow routing and account number, because let me tell you, you won't see that money again. It's very highly unlikely. And you want the house, I'm sure. So make sure that it's to the right place. Yikes. The second one is on Craigslist with the leasing. I will say, in my experience in the last 3 to 4 years, I would say, I stay away from Craigslist. Craigslist feels scammy to me. I actually used to buy property off of Craigslist. I used to hunt for property off of Craigslist. So now it's more so Facebook Marketplace is where I find my Airbnbs. A little tip there. I find my Airbnbs, how I find a lot of furniture on Facebook as well for the Airbnbs. You can also find leases. I actually had this happen to me where you go on Craigslist, you try to find a property for lease. This was for my own personal residence. And this guy was saying, hey, you need to send the money here for the lease. Now, if you know anything about me, I am a contractual person. You have to have some type of contract to get my money, all right? And hopefully you guys take that on too, because real estate is a dog-eat-dog world out there, and they will take your money if you allow it. So you need to understand, in order for you to make sure that you do not lose money in this situation. They even let you come and visit the property. They're like, you need to send the money. There's no lease agreement involved typically, and that's how you get scammed. So I will say that if you want to make sure that it's legitimate, you need to see the property. You need to make sure that there's a lease in place. You need to make sure that the owner owns the property, or it's a professional property management company, because let me tell you guys, it doesn't matter. People can make up a lot of fake things. I don't believe anything that comes out of people's mouths. I listen, I trust, but I verify everything. Like I said in my previous video, I am a private detective in my free time. I will find you. Honestly, this is a little side note. There was a time that people kept coming to me, and I literally could find, like, if their husband was cheating or their boyfriend was cheating. And I was like, I can literally open up a private detective for just like cheating husbands and boyfriends, because I myself I've had that happen once, but luckily it wasn't anything serious at the time. I just saw that he was talking to other girls and we left it alone. Let me tell you. That is the second one, which is making sure that there's a contract in place for a lease. You are not getting my money unless there is a contract in place, and that you verify that the owner of the property that you're speaking to is on title. And how you go about that is that you should speak to your local real estate agent to find the owner. So the last item is a home inspection. And I still do this to this day from my own properties, because I believe it will uncover anything that is wrong with the property. Your home inspector is on your side, and they are there to pick apart the property. So I always recommend, if you can get $200-300 and save yourself thousands of dollars on the back end, I highly recommend it, because once the home inspection comes back, you can go to the seller and say, hey, the roof needs repair, this needs repair, and that way you can go negotiate money off the deal. Now, in the last 2 years, we really haven't been able to do that because people will just cancel the contract and move on to the next buyer, right? In this economy, we are now able to actually have home inspections where it's a normal market. I think we are slowing down. However, I don't think that we are just gonna drop off with the housing. I think we're just gonna have a normal market this year in 2023, which is, I'm very excited for, let me tell you. I've already negotiated $30,000 off the purchase price, and that has never happened in the last 2 years, let me tell you. So this home inspection is for you guys to be able to go out and negotiate with the seller, get money off if you need to, and also make sure that you have a product that is going to last for the next 5 to 10 years that you are in it. Because the worst case scenario is you have to pay a large amount of money for a sewer system to run out, maybe the water heater ran out. You just never know, and you really need to be on top of it, making sure that the maintenance gets done, because if it's left to you guys, it's gonna be expensive. A new roof is, you know, $14,000 all the way up to $30,000, $40,000 for a new roof. So you really need to make sure that you do your due diligence when you purchase property, because it will bite you later, let me tell you. So if someone tells you to waive a home inspection, I definitely don't recommend it. I recommend getting a home inspection. And if the seller is like, no, I don't think we need a home inspection, I think that is a red flag, because sellers need to disclose everything on their end. However, if they do not, they can be liable for that. And if they want to waive a home inspection, that's typically what they're trying to do, is saying, hey, I know there's something wrong with the property. I don't want to tell you what's wrong, and you shouldn't get an inspection. Everything is fine. Don't believe people. As much as I hate saying it, I promise you, I don't like saying it. I wish there were great people in the real estate world, but you just never know anymore. And it sucks that we live in this type of world, but it is what it is. Those are the 3 red flags and the 3 scams that I have found that are very apparent. You do not want to be a victim to any of these. It is not a fun place. You could lose a lot of money, and I hope nobody has to go through that, because I have fallen victim to a couple of these, so make sure that you don't. With that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below. My next YouTube video is going to be about a lawsuit. I'm very excited. So stick around. Catch you on the next one. Bye now.